sunny South Florida, Miami. Ah, awesome. We're neighbors. And so it is my plum-pleasing pleasure to be here with you all this morning. One of my colleagues, he's been using that for years, so every chance I get to express that, I like to say that. So I'm a tax and cash flow strategist. So I help people wrap their head around the things they can do on a regular basis to maximize their cash flow. For 20 plus years now, I've been helping people understand the principles of building wealth, a legacy for their families, or the legacy for their families. And it's a formula. It's called cash, asset, cash. So you take your cash, you turn your cash into assets that bring you more cash. You turn your cash into ad spend that brings you 4x out of your funnel. That's turning your cash, put it into an asset that brings you more cash. Repeat. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about taxes. This afternoon I can come back and I'll actually be linked up here, and we'll go to the IRS website and I'll show you some of the publications that I'll be referencing and talking about now. So it's not this guy TC telling you can do this stuff. You'll actually see where the IRS says you can and should have been doing these things. So the first thing I want to say is this. You've all heard this before. Failing to plan is planning to fail. And that is absolutely true when it comes to taxes. And we're in tax season. Everyone gets excited about tax season. Tax season is not important. What you do the 11 months leading up to tax season is important. It's like Michael Jordan. Everybody wants to be like Mike. And they see him in a championship game, and he just crushes it. But what gave Mike the ability to crush it at the championship game was the 1,500 shots he took every single day. First one in the gym, last one in the gym. Those are the things that allowed him to really show up and show out. Now, like many of you, I do a lot of personal development, a lot of reading, a lot of videos, a lot of audios. And one statement that I carry and I like to share with people is you don't get what you want, you get your habits. You don't get what you want, you get your habits. The past 3 months I've been wanting to lose some weight, but my habits have not been consistent with what I want. Those little fork curls just aren't the right habits and conducive for losing weight. So tax is the same thing. How many people want to save an extra $3,000 to $10,000 a year on your taxes? So all you have to do is establish a mindset that you're going to build first a solid tax foundation. I mean, you're in business, that's a good start, and develop tax habits. So I like to start by talking about cash flow first. Some of the simplest things you can do to increase your cash flow that doesn't require people to work overtime, part-time jobs. How many people still are W-2 employees or have a significant other that are W-2 employees, someone close to you that are W-2 employees? Okay? So the IRS says that 80% of the workforce, 100 million people. So now right there, Ivy League, private colleges, community colleges, GED, no degree, tech, white collar, blue collar, would you agree they're all included in the 100 million people? Pretty much, right? So 100 million people have one form filled out incorrectly that robs them of their cash that they can turn into assets that bring them more cash. Now, that W-4, they cause them to overpay for federal taxes every single pay period. Now, some people say, oh, no problem, I get it back when I file my taxes. How many people have mortgages, they say, no interest, you can have it for free, interest-free loan. Most people have to pay when they use other people's money. Well, most cases, when you get a refund, it's an interest-free loan that you just got paid back from the IRS. And you've heard the strategy, go to school, get a good education, use education to get a good job. This good job should provide you with one benefit, i.e. a 401k, 403b, TSP. put money in it every single pay period, and down the road it's going to take care of it. Well, ideally, the more money you put in, the more you have that can grow for you and compound, and that will be there to take care of you. Well, if all the dollars you're getting in your tax refund, that means it didn't go into your 401k, your 403b, whatever your investment strategy is, every single month, every single year, your entire working career. So people after 20 years, 30 years wonder, it's just not enough. We weren't putting enough in it, but we were giving away interest-free loans to the government. And some people are excited about it. Woo, can't wait tax time, I got $7 grand back. Zero interest. It made you no dollars, no money. So the first thing is to capture as much of your cash flow as you can by properly adjusting your W-4. Now, unfortunately, the only reason, two reasons I think so many people fill out their W-4 incorrectly. One, they never heard their parents talking about it at the table. It's associated with, how much more money they have coming in, so it never grew interest to them. It was never became an important document to them. So since they had their first job at McDonald's or at the movie theater in my cases, what do I put? Well, I'll put 0, you get the most money back. Yeah, I want all my money back. No, you don't want to give it to have to give it back. You want to keep it all. So one, no emphasis was placed on it in the household, so we never developed the interest for it and the need for it. And then the writing is so small, it's intimidating, so people just ask HR, what should I put here? And then HR says, you have any kids? They go, no, put 0, you get the most back. So they give horrible advice. So this afternoon, we'll go through one quickly. But because I've been doing it so long, I hear conversations, people say, well, I carry 0 dependents. That just means they didn't read it. Because the very first instruction the guidance that IRS gives you says, put 1 for yourself. So it's really, really simple. So I'm going to show you how either it's you, your significant other, or your younger children who now are starting to work, or grandkids now are starting to work, how you can help them maximize their take-home pay so they're not giving interest-free loans. So that's the first thing a person can do to start capturing and understanding and getting more of their cash flow. Okay? So we'll do that. But the W-4 is the first way we look at it, capturing that cash flow. All right? So next, also on that W-4, there's multiple worksheets. Since all of you are in business in here, there's a second worksheet where the IRS says, let me know what additional adjustments to your income that you may have so I can allow you to keep even more money in your paycheck. Now, homeowners used to use this second one because the first question on there asks is, give me an estimate of what your itemized deductions are. So they know before you're going to write off your property taxes, interest off your mortgage, charitable contribution, medical expenses over a certain amount, blah, 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 right? You put that number in, they say, well, since we know at the end of the year when you go to file your taxes, you're going to give us that information when you file your taxes, give it to us now, and we'll let you keep that money in your paycheck. We won't even take it out, so we have to give it back to you. Again, maximize more of your cash flow. Well, line 4 on that same sheet says, give me an estimate of any additional adjustments. Well, many of you are going to have car and truck expenses of your business owners, travel expenses of your business owners, meal expenses of your business owners. So you put that on that form, and you keep those dollars in your paycheck now instead of getting them later down the road. So those are all strategies that you use to maximize your cash flow. And they're not loopholes, they're not gray areas. That's black and white, that's been there since all of us have been working, but no one's ever told us about it. Now, as business owners, it's important to develop a tax mindset. And if you're a business owner, you should never, ever, 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 ever have a barbecue again. Ever. Because if you have a barbecue, none of the refreshments that you're serving your guests are tax deductible. If you're a business owner, you're having a business lunch. You should never, ever, 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 ever have a Thanksgiving dinner, a Christmas dinner. They're dinner receptions. Business owners have dinner receptions. As a business owner, you never, ever, 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 trips. And you just have fun while you're there. Now, many of us have online products and services, which means we can get customers or clients and we can service anyone anywhere in the world, right? So, is it possible, and I know it is, but is it possible to do a workshop in a Starbucks in, somebody give me a location around the world that's super exciting and fun that you might want to go to.
Fiji.
Someone said Fiji. Chances are Fiji has a Starbucks, right? So is it possible to do a free Chrome extension workshop in Starbucks in Fiji at 9:30 a.m. when she was going to have coffee and Danish anyway, right? Yeah. It is impossible to do a couple of those in a week's time frame. One a day even. That sounds like a business trip. That sounds like her airfare, her hotel, 100% tax deductible, 50% of her meals tax deductible. Or, you know, she could be who she is and just take a vacation to Fiji and lose all those deductions. Right? And if she marketed that properly on Instagram and on Facebook, she may even have a few people show up with her to have Danishes with her and get some additional clients. So many of you drive every single day. You make the decision every time you get in your vehicle whether your miles are going to be tax deductible or not. It's your choice. I'm going to show you a diagram that the IRS has in its publication that says if you move like this, those miles are never, ever, 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 ever deductible. But in that same diagram it says if you move like this, they're always deductible. So as a business owner who wants to keep more of your cash flow, which way are you going to choose to move? That lets you make the miles deductible, right? That's the choice you have every single day you get in your vehicle. How do I document this? How do I move so these miles are tax deductible? And they prescribe in their publications, use both ways to determine your car or truck expense, the standard and the actual expense, to see which one gives you the greater deduction. That's one of their tips. Use both ways. So they're not even trying to keep your money. In fact, it's the opposite. The IRS has all these hundreds of deductions that we all have access to. Why? Because it's a win-win if for the IRS if we're successful. First, if you build a successful business, profitable, that means you're going to have to pay some more taxes, right? But because it was profitable, it's good for you. But because you have to pay more taxes, good also for the IRS, right? So they want you to be successful. They give you all this guidance. They give you all these deductions because they want you to win. Two, if you build a successful business and it grows humongously and you have to hire all these employees, that's really good for those people you help hire, right? You now have some other people's time, knowledge, expertise, and leadership to leverage, right? That also helps the country's unemployment rate to go down, right? That helps the government, right? So they want you to be successful. So they want you to understand deductions and use the deductions so it becomes a win-win-win. If you build a successful company, a successful business that takes care of you long into your late years, and now you're not worried about Social Security and the government to take care of you, is that a win for you? Is that a win for the government to not worry about you being in their pocket? So all of these tax advantages and tax deductions are tools that they provide for us to win. It's tax favor they give us for being entrepreneurs. And what the government does regularly is they put their money with people who do the things they want them to do. Not in a controlling way, but in a way that moves their agenda along. Like they want more people to become homeowners. They say, well, renter, you're spending $1,500 more on rent, no tax law. But if you're paying a mortgage, become a homeowner, we're going to let you write off the property taxes, interest off your mortgage. So they're giving you tax love because of that. They want more people to become business owners. They say, okay, if you're a business owner, you have a car anyway. So we're going to let you write off a percentage the usage of your vehicle. You have a cell phone anyway. We're going to let you write out the percentage use of your cell phone. Internet access anyway. Now, as business owners, when you go out to eat, you also should be thinking, how do I need to position myself or conduct myself in a way that at least 50% of my food and beverages are going to be tax deductible every time you go out. Otherwise, that trip is more emotional than it is business-minded. Make sense? All right. Many of you have children, right? Did you know that you can pay your children wages for helping you in your business? You can pay them up to the standard deduction, $12,200, and they pay zero taxes on it, and you get a 100% deduction for it. All right, let me give you an example. Well, you know, I'm going to show you the publication where the IRS says you can pay your children up to the age 18 because someone said, well, I have a 4-year-old. Let me give you an example. Angie, how old are your children?
10, 8, 4.
All right. Did you or did you not just use them in your presentation? Did you pay them for it?
Not yet.
Using your children's likeness in your Facebook posts, your Instagram, your presentations. If Nike did that, you'd make them pay you, right? So now you pay your children. Allowances aren't tax deductible. Buying them clothes aren't tax deductible. Food aren't tax deductible. Their little league, their football. Football's big in Texas, right? Mm-hmm. They got all kind of leagues everywhere, and they're not free, right? So every time you get paid, job, business, don't matter where the money comes from, you pay your children wages for helping you in the business. Just like any other employee, whatever they do with their money is none of your business. So you get a 100% deduction for paying little wages, and now they buy their own food. Now they buy their own clothes. Now they put their own gas in the car when you drive them all around. Now they buy their own Christmas gifts. Now they buy their own birthday gifts. Now they're paying for the night that you guys are at Benihana. They're paying for that. Is their money? But you get a 100% deduction for it. So now, if I was just telling you that, you're like, that don't sound right. I'd have known by that by now. Well, it's in the IRS publication that I'm going to show you this afternoon. So you've always been able to do it. 3 children, under 18, $12,200 each. That sounds over a $3,600 expense account. 100% tax deductible. It's all there. So between car and truck expenses that you control how you move, communication, cell phone, internet access, travel, meals, wages, just those 5, you can easily save yourself $3,000 to $10,000 a year on taxes. And if you're a W-2 employee, or your spouse is a W-2 employee, that means you can get those dollars now, and now you use those dollars to help build and grow your business, to help build and grow your investment accounts, to help pay down your debt faster, save you interest, which also brings your credit score up, which now lowers your borrowing costs when it comes to getting mortgages, interest on car loans, privilege using credit cards. So it all tends to shift those cash flow back to you, keeping more of your dollars. So understanding taxes has a direct impact on your cash flow. That's why I put them together. Yes?
So I can't pay my adult.
But just think about it. Are they students? Are they already working? Well, they're first, so yes, you can. And they'll have to file, but their first $12,200, they pay no taxes on. You pay no tax on your first $12,200 you make. Because you're single. So the standard deduction for anyone in America, if you're single, is $12,200. So the first $12,200 you make, you pay no taxes on. A single parent, head of household, first $18,350, they pay no taxes on. Married filing joint, the first $24,400 collected you guys make, you pay no taxes on. So yes.
Shame you can't do this with dogs.
You go to work with me every day.
Even though I know some people leave their dogs with all their wealth.
What do you use them in your advertising?
The executor of that is lovely. No. Then they employ that. But your grandkids. You can pay your grandkids' wages.
Oh.
Yep, you pay your grandkids' wages. So all it has to be is a custodial account with you and your grandkids on it, and you can pay your grandkids' wages. because your children may not be able to do it or interested to do it, have the mindset to do it, you get your grandkids with. You're buying them gifts and stuff anyway. Yes?
So you're saying the custodial account, does it have to be a specific type, like an education?
No. And the
college?
reason it's custodial is because they're too young to get it themselves.
So I could make a savings account that that their parents could use for their expenses, but I'm the custodial?
Mm-hmm.
Could
The
I put
custodial
one-
part is just because they can't do it themselves because they're underage.
So do I have to be the custodian? Could I put one of their parents on there so it would be that they could draw it out?
Well,
from their-
if you're paying them the wages, your name needs to be on there too.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But if I'm on there and their parent is
That's
on
fine
there,
too.
then they can withdraw and use it for the child.
It can be used any kind of way.
Right,
The
right.
most important part is,
That I'm on it.
and what happens is it gives you a paper trail to show that you paid the wages. So whether you do a physical deposit, electronic deposit, you have something to show that you paid wages.
So when you're calling it wages, we have to do that, pay payroll taxes and all that too? So
If you're, because I'm gonna show you specifics in the publication. If you're a sole proprietor,
okay.
there's no Social Security or Medicare taxes due in the money.
What about LLCs?
Hmm?
But if you're a
LLC, you're a big boy.
then if I do that with my grandson, then I would have
If
to.
you're LLC, then the Social Security and Medicare taxes due. But if you're sole proprietor, see, it's simple. Your business right now is an LLC. You become an affiliate, so your separate business, you're an affiliate for his Chrome extension. Now you're a sole proprietor for that business.
Okay.
So as long as you have at least one sole proprietor entity, that's who's paying the wages. So if it's sole proprietorship or partnership, the only way the partnership can get away with it if both partners are parents of the children that's paying the wages. Yes.
Nieces, nephews?
It's your children or your grandchildren. Any other questions? But again, I'm going to show you all the publications. Yes.
Okay, so it's totally off that.
Okay.
I need to figure out how I can get Harley every year and do it tax-wise.
How you can buy one? or how you can-
However.
Okay, so.
Because my business is, I coach and my niche is Harley, so I want to find out how I can
Okay, so.
kind of
The-
rapid what?
No, but it's simple. If you're leasing,
Okay.
actual expense, so you got standard expense, standard deduction rate, which is like 58 cents a mile, or the actual expenses. Actual expenses include lease payments. So let's say you use it 90% of the time, 80% of the time, 70% of the time, you're Harley for business. So 70% of the lease, the gas, the licensing, the tolls, that's enough.
And what if you don't lease?
Is a
Leasing
note,
the only-
if it's a note, then, well, if you don't lease and you still take actual, you got interest off of the loan, you still got gas, you still got tolls, you still got maintenance, tires, all of that.
Okay.
If you don't, you can depreciate it.
Right.
You can depreciate a vehicle for business.
Okay. Okay. I do write it every day. Want to get a new one.
Yeah, it's just a matter of proper documentation, how you using it.
So getting the new
start,
one, that
finish.
would come out better leasing.
Hmm?
So getting a newer vehicle, I'd come out better leasing my Harley.
Not necessarily, you do the numbers, but it depends on how you want to write it off.
I want to write off as much as possible.
And then that's the other thing. You pay for what you get. Well, my cousin will do my taxes for me for $200. Okay, and you get his knowledge. Not you in particular, but you get $200 worth of knowledge and experience. That's what you're going to get. So you pay for what you get. It's like you can pay for a jack leg. They say, oh, I do funnels. I got to help build a funnel for you. Oh, they charging you too much. Give me $75. I'll hook you up. Well, your funnel going to be a $75 funnel. And it goes for all aspects of our lives. It pays to get the knowledge you need, to get the advice you need, the coaching you need, to get there. So tax planning is far more important and significant than tax preparation. Tax preparation is putting the numbers on the proper blocks. And some people say, well, are you an accountant? Is the person that did your tax at H&R Block an accountant? No. I've just been in this for over 15 plus years. and I'm just knowledgeable about the tax laws and how to apply them, use them myself, and help people do the same thing successfully.
And absolutely no way to do it with the dogs, just kidding.
Yeah.
No loops.
Not that I know of.
And
Not
no
that I know
separate
of.
loops of dogs.
Not that I know of.
Damn.
Yeah, not that I know of. You got grandchildren? Children?
Oh, no.
Any other questions? Then I'm done. I'm with the next question.
So if you
Yes.
have an S corp,
Mm-hmm.
you need to put a sole proprietor, a sole proprietorship.
You have S corp. You need to pay yourself salary. There's certain each business entity has its own specific requirements and pros and cons. So if you're going to do the research yourself, you just got to go look at each one and see which one fits you, or find a tax professional. Also, understand that a CPA is a certified public accountant. Doesn't mean that a CPA talks tax strategy and planning with you. It doesn't mean they can't, but it might not be in the scope of what they do. Well, my tax person never told me about the W-4 because you were already hired before you went to them to do your taxes. One thing doesn't necessarily go to the other. So because someone is a CPA doesn't mean in the scope of what they do, they're able to help you. Doesn't mean they can't, but it doesn't mean because they have that title, they can. So you just have to understand, ask the specific questions to what you want and what you need, and then that's how you find the individuals that can help you. So I've been able to help people, and I don't have any type of accounting degrees, but I understand the W-4, I understand what the IRS says, that as a business owner, you can, as long as you're operating your business with a profit intent, here are the deductions that you have access to, here's how you document them, here's how they're used, here's the interpretation of it. It's simple, it's not very difficult. You know, it becomes difficult when you try to fit a rule to fit you and to fit your situation, you know, just like head of household. They're very specific that we've had a household. So if I heard a married couple say, the wife might say, well, you know, I'm sitting there talking to them, well, I make more than my husband, so I'm going to file head of household, and then he's going to do married. So, no, how you do that? Or I heard a single person say, well, I pay for everything in my apartment, so I am head of the household. So the IRS gives specific guidance that you have to be unmarried. So my single person goes, that's me. Take care of at least 50% of upkeep and maintain of the household. Well, that's me, but it says for you and a qualified person. Oh. So it's very specific because they know people are trying to fit it to kind of match what they want. But bottom line is all the laws and publications that are in place, if you are an entrepreneur, capitalism favors business owners and investors. The reason so many people struggle financially in America because most aren't business owners and most do very little investing. But if you're a business owner and you invest, but especially if you're a business owner, you have the ability to strategize and plan and map out your financial future. Plus, right now where the stock is going like this because what's going on all over the world, you can determine a rate of return on your business more so than the market. And when you're investing in the market, you're investing in a business. So you have to choose. Do I want to invest in somebody else's business where I have zero control of the decisions they make and outside factors, or do I want to invest in my business? See, Alan can invest $100 a month in his business on Facebook ads. And he can do the proper research, testing, to determine whether he's going to put $1 in and get $1 out, $1 in and get $2 out, $1 in and get $4 out. He controls most of those variables. But if he puts $1 into Johnson & Johnson, it's been around forever, but he has zero control. So you just have to understand how money works. So not only becoming a business owner, you then also have to start understanding how money works, what strategies you use, what's ROI, return on investment, ROT, return on your time. Your intent should be getting a return on your time here at this mastermind. Not just to come and meet and network. What is the return you intend to get on your time here? On the money you spend on airfare here? Hotel here? What is the return you anticipate getting? And you control your ability to do that. How well you take notes, how well you network, what you're going to get a return on, how big that return is going to be. Are you going to take the one tip this afternoon? Okay, this is how I need to map out my travel every day, so now my miles is different. Okay, I better make sure I set up that custodial account so I can pay those wages, the money I'm going to spend anyway. It's about you getting a return. You're the CEO, literally the CEO of your businesses, and now what you gain and how you use that. And you hear people say all the time, and then you listen to Tony Robbins, you heard this, you hear people say, knowledge is power. No, it's not. It doesn't become a power until you execute on it and you use it. I know a whole lot about getting this midsection down. I know. I've done it before. But if I don't execute on what I know, it stays like this and I get baggier shirts. See? He said, identify a problem, come with a solution. The problem is getting bigger. My habits haven't quite changed. Solution to get a baggier shirt. Temporary. So I'll be around between breaks, answer any questions, and I'll come back this afternoon and I'll show you some of the actual IRS publications that I was just mimicking and telling you about. It wasn't just me saying it, so you now know the confidence you do this. Okay? All right.